Well, I have in part been silent because on our little text chat here between the four of us, Heather offered a link to what I can only describe as a concentrated collection of utter misogyny, and I think the big question that we need to ask ourselves is, what is the difference? Is there a difference between hatred of women and just good old male chauvinism?
Yeah,
There's
the fact that you
difference.
put the good old before there is just
Yeah.
outstanding. Oh boy.
So, all right, so we've got Duke Nukem, which is a joke to begin with. It has been on how many vaporware lists, has won the award for being an illusory, if non-existent property. I think for some time an embarrassment, but now it seems to be paying dividends just as far as a conversation piece.
All right,
And
well, people want
lately,
to see what the
Or
Trump
a
effect's going to be
dissertation
like.
on trolling.
exactly, right. I guess just to focus on the matter at hand. There's a game type apparently. It's just been shown in a trailer called Capture the Babe, and it is a variation of Capture the Flag. I'm guessing it's a voluptuous, scantily clad chick who is carried over the shoulder of some big beefy fellow, and after a while, I'm guessing if the defending team stymies the offending team, the girl will start to squirm and try to get away. At which point, she needs to be slapped on the buttocks.
Ah, yes. The women in the game are, oh, hi, you are the equivalent of an inanimate object. Now, I had no interest in playing Duke Nukem before this, so it's just like, oh, one more reason not to have any interest.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to affect you. It doesn't necessarily bother me, and I don't know if it bothers a lot of people just because this is Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem is not known for being any sort of, anything besides, as you said, good old male shop.
Male chauvinism, right.
Yeah.
No IQ above 93 required. Yeah,
I'm meanwhile excitedly looking for video of this mode, and I can't find it anywhere. The internet's failing.
Excitedly, oh dear. You could probably find Rule 34 video of it, but actual video.
Man, what a bummer.
isn't that a shame?
Yeah, I did
Now-
find a dancing cat, but that's not the same thing.
No.
It probably has more moral fiber and general value, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I gotta say, I'm kind of with Mike on this. As much as I will always champion seeing authentic representations of women in video games, that is not something I would ever expect from Duke Nukem. If Duke Nukem was anything but misogynistic, I would argue, a tongue-in-cheek way, I think that it would no longer be Duke Nukem. That's sort of the whole point of this franchise. It's everything about it is over the top.
I think the fact that it's just a multiplayer mode as well, and it's kind of going back to we talked about the not Call of Duty, what was it called, Medal of Honor, the controversy about playing as the Taliban.
Oh yes, playing as the Taliban. Yep.
Yeah, I took, and they subsequently renamed the Taliban to Op 4
Opposing force.
yes, to stifle complaints from various people. I kind of taken the same stance, like, because it's multiplayer, it's kind of even less serious. There's sort of kind of no context of where these multiplayer modes take place. They the dudes killing each other over and over again, in this kind of weird Groundhog Day reality that is competitive multiplayer games.
Nowhere in particular, Stan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bloody screen,
Yeah.
so real, so
Oh,
real.
yes. That was an amazing.
I'm grind tears.
But that said, knowing this franchise, Duke's probably going to be getting up to worse stuff than that in the campaign. Like, I mean, if you guys have seen any of the trailers so far, I mean, there was one just released called Babes, and there were lots of women doing, you know, the things that you'd expect them to be doing in a Duke Nukem game. So, yeah, this might just be the tip of the iceberg in a way.
It's, I don't know, I guess it's more of a blatant and evident example of some of the misogyny that happens in video games anyways, but when it's that point, it's like, okay, I'm just not going to touch it. Not going there.
My question is, what sort of strip clubs does Duke Nukem frequent? Are these American strip clubs or Canadian strip clubs?
There's a difference.
Because there is a difference.
You know this from experience?
I'm silent.
No, I seem to remember. Was it a strip club or was it like some exotic bar with scantily clad women? That was part of a trailer, like an in-game trailer for Duke Nukem about 1 billion years ago.
Well, in the first game, didn't it open in a strip club?
Yeah, on the first
The
level.
first level, he was in a strip club, and then the pigs invaded.
That's right, the pigs.
Yep. And you could give a stripper some money, and she'd, you know, take off her top for, like, you know, those 5 frames of animation that they had back then.
Yes, the whole thing looked mosaic because that's as good as the graphics could be rendered.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, this is what Duke Nukem was, and is.
And ever shall be.
And ever
Forever.
shall be. Yeah, forever.
People will grow out of it eventually. But
Well-
I'm not going to hold my breath.
It's worth noting that part of the controversy around this came from the early ambiguity about the mode itself. As you were saying, Ed, I don't think there's been actually any gameplay or screenshots of this mode. It was only talked about in a text article, and they weren't very clear about how you were striking this woman or these women.
Oh, okay, all right. I take that back then. I thought that there was evidence of it, but
No. So I'm reading from the 1UP article, news article about it. They actually had to come out, and the CEO of Gearbox, who's developing it, came out and clarified that you're not like hitting the woman in the face or anything like that, even though she is still struggling.
you're just slapping her ass. I mean, come on.
Yeah, because that's not bothersome at all. Obviously, I want some random dude to, pick me up, carry me around the battlefield over his shoulder, and slap me on the ass, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, it's all good fun. It's like a Benny Hill sketch.
That's the thing. I think there
This isn't the 70s anymore, Ed. Am break that to you.
Wait a second. Women in the workplace.
somebody
What?
else. Yeah, exactly. No,
I am going to go into your computer and set WordPad as the default program to open.
No, I think, unless I'm mistaken, and the entirety of this is a lot darker or just cruder than any of us imagines, or maybe just me. But I wonder if it's just tapping into this rarefied old boys club kind of mentality. Exactly. I mean, Benny Hill. I'm Benny Hill, and he's
Oh no, sir, women in our games now. I like
he's-
the Old Boys Club.
and Mom is my good friend. And his name is Cherry.
Did you
know?
see the
It-
complaints about Dragon Age 2 and the romance options from people?
Personally, I like the Penny Arcade comic where one of them was upset because he couldn't have any man-dragon love.
Well, no, just as an aside, it was very strange. I had a male dwarf, and I think he went all the way with Morgan, and it was a little unsettling.
I discovered in the first Dragon Age that the skins for character bodies and character faces were completely different tones. Yeah, that's a bit disconcerting.
That's well.
Why can't developers keep their light adult out of my video games? I don't want light adult in my video games. That's what Cinemax is for. You know, I don't need that.
I think going back to Duke Nukem, this reminds me of Porky's. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Frat Boy, when Frat Boy meant something, again, less dark than it often.
It was more innocent, just innocent bawdiness.
Exactly, exactly. It's off color. It's silly. Boys will be boys.